Our next teller, I've known for a while, but have never heard this story, and I'm so excited and blessed to hear about not only her sexual escapades, but her delivery escapades. Srilatha.
So, childbirth sucks. I kind of grew up with this mantra, like from the time I was born to my teen years to my adulthood. But that was because when I was born, my mother almost died. There was some birth complications. She was unconscious for a month or more, and for about 6 weeks she was unconscious. And my father would give me goat's milk and a little bit of like honey water through the entire time. So that was the story behind my birth. And so and my father was one of 8 kids, so there were children, a lot of children in our family. But I never, like from the time I was old enough to decide on things, I was like, I'm never going to have a child, never. And and I met someone and I married someone who had the same, thought, no children. Which is kind of a weird way to start this very positive, affirming environment, but that's pretty much where I was at that time. So when I found I was pregnant, it was a complete and utter shock. Everything is supposed to be like 99.9% effective, I guess, all methods of contraception, and I was like the 0.1%. But it just happened, and when I realized I was pregnant, both my husband of that time and I, we were trying to like wrap our minds around this, like what do you do? What should we do? Because we were both having busy careers. I was also in school full-time in California, and I was trying to figure out a lot of things. I wasn't ready for this. So when I went for my first checkup, I was so sure I wouldn't be pregnant that I was about like 3 months gone when I actually went to the doctor, because I didn't even realize something was missing. Yeah. So when I went there, the first time I went to the doctor, they did the routine blood test, and I filled up the form. This was in San Jose, California. I filled up the form and I gave all the information that they asked, which included, my name, age, like my race, and a lot of other details. And then they did the blood test. And a week later, I got a call and actually, I literally found a doctor by looking through my insurance website. I just picked up a doctor who was like the closest to my office. That was literally how I approached this whole thing. So when I went a week later, they called and they asked me to meet them a week later. So I went alone, and then they told me that my blood work indicated some kind of an abnormality, which when associated with my race, that was going to be a 1 in 50 chance that the child I was going to deliver would have Down syndrome. I was alone when I heard that news. I couldn't wrap my mind around. I think that was, to date, that has been the worst, and I've experienced a lot of loss and other things since then, but even now when I think about it, my heart rises up here, and I feel like everything is going. It was just the worst moment of my life, I think, at that point. Until then, I hadn't even decided what I was going to do about this baby that was growing within me, but I don't know. I think I walked out in a daze. I don't know what I did that day. And then when my husband came home that evening, I told him. And that resulted, I think throughout the pregnancy, it was like, I was not sure until then that I was going to keep the child. But after I spoke to him and he said, no, we should not keep this child, that is when I decided I was going to keep the child. And the pregnancy it was very traumatic. I looked at toys and gifts. I would always think, would my child be able to enjoy this? I didn't tell a lot of people about it. And after she was I had an amniocentesis when I was 7 months gone, and they said she is most likely going to be normal. But after I didn't tell anyone even then. And after she was born, she's great now. I mean, she's a senior at NYU, and I mean, she's a freshman at NYU. She was a senior this year. I just wanted to end the story by just giving you this message that she sent me last week for no reason at all. I left you a voicemail telling you how much I love you because I forgot to tell you today. Here it is again. I love you so much. So I'm very glad. I know this is not a funny story, but I'm very glad. That's it. That's my story.